Hi, beloved daughters of the King. Welcome back to Women Warriors of the Word and today's 5 minutes of faith. I'm going to really try to keep it to 5 minutes today. We seem to be rolling into 6 and 5-ish minutes. Anyway, today I really want to encourage you in the steps to open doors that God can move through. The scriptures are really specific. It gives us a lot of detail on what to do, what not to do. Proverbs is a great place to find that material. And in fact, right now on the podcast, we are going chapter by chapter, deep diving into Proverbs. So if you're not already listening to that podcast, I really encourage you to do so. But getting focused, there are things that we can do that will open the doors for God to move. Likewise, there are things that we can do that will close the doors for God to move. And I want to talk to you about how to open those doors. What we can do so that we allow God's promises, His provision, and His mighty, mighty hand to move into and through our lives. One of the first things that we can choose to do is repent. Sin is a block. It's a barrier between us and God. It puts up in place principles that prevent God from moving. Does that mean He's any less God? Absolutely not. But He is a God of order. And His word outlines what we are to do and what we're not to do. And when we choose to participate in behaviors that go against the principles of God, we bind ourselves outside of His reach in certain areas. So when we turn around and repent, it's like taking that binding off of us so that then the hand of God can come in and move in and through us. Repenting is a 180. It's simply going the opposite direction. Something really easy to relate it to is cussing. I'm going to stop. Now, is that a process? Absolutely. And then that's where we get to rest in the fact that we are trying to stop. And God sees your heart. He sees my heart. He knows that we are working towards the renewing of our mind. Sexual promiscuity. We can be active in it in several different ways, and then we can repent and we can stop that action, stop putting ourselves in positions and environments that open the door for that action. And when we repent and we turn away from those acts, God is then allowed to move in and through us, to bring healing, to bring strength, to give us the courage, to renew our mind. All of those things are now unlocked because we have followed the biblical principle that allows God to move. Another thing that we get to do is choose forgiveness. Unforgiveness, or choosing not to forgive, blocks the hand of God. He very specifically says, if we do not forgive, we will not be forgiven. The choice not to forgive allows all kinds of physical ailments. It allows the spirit of infirmity to infiltrate and permeate and inflict our bodies. So when we choose to first repent of having non-forgiveness, and then we choose to speak forgiveness, until we actually feel forgiveness, until we can pray for that person, then we allow God to come in and move through us in that process, thus unlocking that door and allowing Him to move in through and all around that space within us. Repent, forgive, and invite God in. See, God is a gentleman, daughters of the King. He is not going to come into your world or my world where we don't want Him. So if we don't want to forgive and we never invite Him into that arena, we're on our own. If we don't want to stop swearing and we never invite Him in to shift our perspective, our mindset, our desires to align with His, He won't. If we don't want to invite Him into our relationships to move us in a way that binds them in strength and builds a solid foundation, He won't. We need to invite God into the areas of our life, our thought, our process, our perspectives, so that He can release His truth in and over us. When we choose to repent, forgive, and invite God into the areas of our life that we are struggling with, we open doors within our lives for God to move. Sometimes I even tell God, I give you permission to push me out of the way. God, push me out of the way if necessary, but I want your will in my life. So I encourage you to do those 3 things and watch what God is able to do when you open doors for Him to move within. Until next time, walk by faith, daughters.